Oh, I'm off center. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to a normal show. A show where the Timberwolves allow the opponents to get a career high in something and lose the game pretty much from start to finish. I actually don't know if we had a lead tonight. I don't remember. But obviously, as you guys all saw, gross game tonight. From everyone. I mean, there's not really anybody that performed well that I can really think of. I mean, Vando had like some of his like normal energy, but man, not having Patrick Beverley hurts. There was hope after the Miami game that maybe that just meant like, oh, it's gonna be a struggle, but like we can kind of overcome it. But man, tonight I don't know, and tonight's kind of a weird one. I don't necessarily. I'm not like super bummed. It was bad. Like it's bad, but I'm not as bummed as I think a lot of people on Twitter are. I see a lot of people on Twitter being like, "Oh my gosh, like, so what's the issue with this game?" Or like, "What is like acting as if we've just lost 5 in a row? We just won the last 5 games." So I'm not gonna be that upset. Yeah, Godfrey Beverley is hurt, and we're missing him right now. But it's more so that I think that we have an over-reliance on Jordan McLaughlin as our I don't know, third stringer. And I'm not saying that Noel is better. Clearly he struggled tonight, even though I mean he made up for it with some garbage time buckets, but he missed a garbage time dunk. He really should be. You should be really bummed. Jalen Noel got the same number of shots as Ant. Yeah, the rookie rivalry thing is for sure a thing, and like I'd be lying if I said that I didn't care about it. But I'm gonna be honest, LaMelo didn't look that great tonight, shooting wise. Anyways, I mean, obviously he's always gonna have assist numbers. He's got a good ability, similar to Ricky, to find people in an open spot, but he's way faster than Ricky. He's like so fast out there. Not to mention how tall he is. So LaMelo looks really good. And of course I want Ant to go off, but I think Ant just had like a crazy good game against Miami. So I'm still on that high. But you do want him to get more shot attempts, but you also don't want him to shoot like 4 of 16, you know? And he ended up shooting, let's see here. He shot 4 of 9. Yeah, that's bad. He can't have 9 though. But yeah, what Gerald's saying is accurate. So Godfrey, with Balmero, I want to see minutes from Balmero, but I want it to be in situations like this. You know, I'm just not sold on him yet. I'm pretty down to have McKinley Wright get some minutes. I think McKinley Wright is somebody that would not hurt us more than McLaughlin is right now. It wouldn't hurt us more than Noel. I think he might even be better. But I don't know. I mean, it's hard to judge because you see these guys go to G League and just drop 35 points a game. And then they come to, like, Jalen Noel is the perfect example. He can absolutely dominate. He could be, like, a G League Hall of Famer. And then he comes into the NBA, even in garbage time, and just can't get it going. I get that he had a couple buckets. He had a couple buckets tonight. I read Jake Layman's stat line. But Gerald, I was going to agree with what you said, just slow and uninspired. We just, and this is what I said at the end of the last show too, you know, it's like, we have to, like, we can't take this team lightly because this is a good team. I'm not saying that they're a championship team, but they are good. What is their record? I don't even actually know. They are 12-8 now. So, I mean, that's a good team, better than us. So, I think, we always take Charlotte as like a bottom dweller team, as most teams probably look at us, you know. But it's just a team that you can't do that to, especially now. They have like decent talent, like Gordon Hayward. They have Terry Rozier. Kelly Oubre apparently decided to have a career night. So, you know, you have all of those things happen at the same time. It's bad. Not to say that that's like a championship team, but it's definitely a team that can beat us if we don't take it seriously. So, that's sad. But I'm not too worried just because if you look at the bottom 5 teams in the West, we're looking at bad teams that we should not have to be down there. So realistically, we shouldn't have to worry about not making the play-in or the playoffs, even if we play poorly. Not that I want to play like we did tonight, but like think of it: Sacramento, Oklahoma City, the Spurs, the Pelicans, and the Rockets. I mean, I'm not really worried about any of those teams, to be honest. But Jake Erickson says, to be fair, the Wolves, though, they just came out 5 in a row and an emotional physical game against the Heat. 100%. Not to mention we have a back-to-back tomorrow. So I'm sure that in their mind, they were like, hey, we're down. I'm just ready to move on to tomorrow. And tomorrow's against the 76ers. So that could be a big game, especially if Embiid and Harris come back. So let's see. What else? Never run offense through Towns. Take note. I agree. I think this was a pretty damning game for Towns in some ways. We'll talk about it later. But let's see. If Ant is going to sit in the corner all game, that's what's going to happen. Yep, I agree. I mean, I saw somebody on Twitter saying something about, like, we're putting him in the Wiggins role of just standing in the corner and doing nothing. And to be fair, that's somewhat of a wing thing. I mean, like, he should be... Like, Ant's a ball handler, and he can create, even though he does have quite a bit of turnovers. But, like, he is somebody that can do it more than, like, Wiggins could. But, yeah, he definitely had that Wiggins role tonight, which should not be happening, as I think Gerald said, maybe, I can't remember, in a previous rookie-to-rookie battle. It should be fun for everybody to watch. It should be those two going at it, you know. We didn't have that. I love that we got our ass blown out by Kelly Oubre. Sus. Missing Beverly showing a big weak spot for us. Yeah, Beverly hurts. I think he's somebody that can kind of get us back into situations like this. And honestly, I kind of thought that D'Lo was going to have a crazy good game. He did for the most part. He just didn't get that many shots in the second half. Just uninspired, just like Gerald said. Just a really uninspired game where we just don't have the production that we need. I turned off HDR on my PC and it crashed. What? You're on your phone now. Okay, nice. But yeah, it's just a bad game. I'm looking forward to tomorrow. I also kind of like these earlier games, which I'm sure the players don't. But I like these earlier games just because it's nice for me to be able to like do stuff after the show and the game. But yeah, just a bad game. Oh yeah, I forgot. I got to pull up the highlights or lowlights, whatever you want to call them. But Towns had a bad night. I guess you look at the stats, he didn't have that bad of a night. I just thought this was one of those games where he has his offensive fouls that we hate. He did actually, now that I think about it, maybe it's not as bad as I'm making it out to be. He might have been a little bit better than I thought. But I just think that there's a lot of times when we're trying to run it through him or situations like that, and it's just not working. You know, it just is kind of shades of like our tanking teams, where it's like, I really just don't want to see this. Tonight's game just reminded me so much of the Timberwolves when Towns was like younger and a rookie and more of that kind of a deal. So frustrating. But if you're new here, leave a like on the stream, sub to the channel. Just me tonight, and I think it's just me tomorrow night too. I'm not 100% sure on that yet, but we'll see. It'll be right after work when the game starts. So, oh yeah, that's the game though, not the show. So anyways, I think we're just going to jump right into the tier list because I am ready to talk about individual players. And since I don't have Ashwin to bounce ideas off of and thoughts, it's a little bit different. So it might be quicker tonight. But let's get into that. Just a tier list. There we go. Just got to get the highlights rolling here. Yeah, I never look forward to playing the Hornets, though. I feel like it's just dumb. And by the way, yes, we are always leaving Wancho in the Glenn Taylor tier. But giving up with 6:53 left in the game, frustrating. Godfrey, you know, I agree, but at the same time, there was just no shot we were coming back in this game. And since we're on the night where it's a back-to-back tomorrow, and it's even earlier of a game tomorrow, I guess I kind of understood it at that point. Put Finch in Glenn Taylor tier. Honestly, Finch has some weird moments. I still, I guess, believe in Finch, but like last game, there was just terrible, terrible things where it's like we like the non-call or the non-challenge on the dunk, the timeout when he doesn't have 3 timeouts before the 3-minute mark, just like terrible mistakes. So I honestly might agree with you, but we'll see. We'll hold off for now. But anyways, we're going to go really quick through the bench players again, just because it's boring. But, and honestly, all the guys that came in at the end, I don't know. It's hard to judge. Maybe they should be D instead of C, just because there's no expectations, but it's also not against them. So, like, Knight, Bolmaro, Jake Layman, Jalen Noel might be different. Josh Okogie played a little bit more, but mainly Jalen Noel through Bolmaro and people like that. Just kind of gross. Oops, I didn't press play on the highlights. Whoopsies. Okay, so we'll put them all in there. God, I got to figure out a way to take Ricky Rubio off here. Bolmaro didn't play that well. I mean, he's okay, but he still just looks so raw. Nathan Knight, I would love to see a little bit more production out of him. I guess I won't go full mean mode on Jalen Noel, but man, I just think he's just not it anymore. I just don't believe. Jake Layman, same thing. And then I think that was the last of those that came in kind of last second. So next, though, we'll move on to Josh Okogie. And Josh, tonight, I was surprised to see him play, I guess. But at the same time, he came in a moment where we just couldn't stop giving up threes, and nothing changed. So it stayed the same. But Josh only played 12 and a half minutes today. He had 4 points, 2 of 3 shooting, 1 assist. That's it, though. He really didn't do anything. Honestly, probably D tier. There's really not much to say about Josh, so we're just going to put him in D tier. And then, who's up next? Naz Reid. So this is actually kind of an interesting one, because Naz Reid looked pretty good tonight at times. Well, he looked really good at times and really bad at times. So, oh my gosh, it's playing captions. What's going on? Did I click that? Let's see here. Let's see. Payne headshot. You're right. It was really bad. Got to look back on the film for that one. Let's see. Okogie had Wancho class play, passing up a layup. Oh, yeah. So, Gerald, you're right. So, Jake Erickson, that 4-on-1 was actually realistically a 5-on-1. We had, if you look back at the play, there was actually 5 players across the halfway point for us and only 1 for them. The spacing on this team for fast breaks has been atrocious since like 2014. It's been just unbelievable how we have all of our wing players in the paint within a foot of each other, all trying to do the same thing. And then not only that, it's like that'd be one thing if one of them just went up for the layup or the dunk or something like that. Yes, he does hold on to the ball too long. Cat does. But it's like then we try to do this weird dipsy doodle like passing underneath the rim where we're really just like handing the ball off to each other. It's just atrocious. It's so bad. Yeah, Malik was spacing. He was close to the screen if we're that we're watching, and that would have been an option too. I mean, with how hot he was shooting tonight, that could have been a great option too. Or Cat just takes it all the way. People were kind of saying LaMelo was setting up for the charge. Kinda, but he was still like falling back a little bit. But yeah, I don't like the fact that our options on a fast break are Josh Okogie and Jaden McDaniels. 2 players that I have absolutely no confidence in it making open layups. So, let alone with a player on them. So, also, yeah, the main person that I blame on that is Towns, because Towns should, one, not be holding onto the ball that long. Some people on Twitter were like, oh, what do you want him to do? Hold on to it and charge? No, that's one thing I definitely don't want, but he could pass it way earlier. I don't need him being point cat, that doesn't need to happen. And then secondly, obviously Josh Okogie just needs to go up, and if he gets blocked, oh well, you have people around you. Instead of passing it again to Jaden, who's out of position, letting the defense catch up, just so gross. So gross. Yeah, Vanderbilt also, I don't understand. I love Vando, but he was right behind Josh for that play, and it's like, just disgusting. Disgusting. We have the greatest shooting big man of all time, and we set him up for post-play throughout. Yeah, that's true. It's gross. It's gross. Anyways, were we on Nas? Yeah, so Nas started off the game, and I legitimately thought Nas was going to get 20-plus points because he was posting up and successfully posting up. The first play, he actually lost the ball or got, I don't remember what it was, maybe got called for a foul, which wasn't a foul. but something like that. But he looked incredible. And then after that, just nothing. He shot 1 of 6, and then he lost the ball on an open layup, and then I think he missed a couple putbacks. Just not good. Overall, I guess I'd give him a D. I'm giving everybody a D tonight. That's not... although that's fair. I mean, that definitely is fair. Whoopsies. Because we played so bad. We played so bad. Nas did look like he was going to take over the game. But I don't want to talk too much about the bench players. Jordan McLaughlin, I am really not liking Jordan McLaughlin out there. We need Jordan McLaughlin to not play. He cannot play right now. I don't know what it is. Honestly, it's Wancho tier. It's not Glenn Taylor tier, but it's Wancho tier. And I honestly don't think you guys can convince me of anything else. I'm just so sick of seeing him play right now. I have nothing against him. He's such a nice guy, but like, it's just bad. You know, it's just bad. It's just a really bad game right now. Taurean Prince, actually, I'm going to give a little bit of love to Taurean tonight. He made a few threes, and he made a couple defensive stops, you know. He had 2 steals, 2 blocks. Wow, actually more than I thought. 2 steals, 2 blocks, 8 points, and he was 2 of 4 shooting his threes. I mean, it's pretty good plays tonight. I thought he played pretty well. Yes, Annie, I despise the J-Mag minutes. The baby Mac minutes, that is. Well, I guess both J-Mag minutes right now. I was off the Jaden train a while ago, and you guys know that. But I'm pretty that Jaden train is out of sight for me. Yeah, Jake, I'm almost leaning towards a B for Taurean Prince tonight, just because he kind of saved us at times. There was moments where I thought, wow, Taurean's going to step up for us tonight. Obviously he didn't, and if he did, obviously we're talking like A tier. But I think we're going to give him a B tonight, just because he's going to get some recognition for that. I don't, it's just, on a bad night, he was somewhat of a shining light tonight. We'll say B minus. I'm still going to give him a B. I agree. It probably is closer to C, just because it's still a Taurean Prince night. But for the amount of, I mean, I guess he did play 20 minutes, but still 2 blocks, 2 steals, and 2 threes. That's pretty good production from somebody who, unfortunately, we don't really expect that much from right now. So I'll take it. I'll take a B for him. Agree. Needs to be trade. Well, he still has any value. Here's the problem, Gerald. He doesn't. That's why I was so adamant that I wanted to trade him this offseason for. And I don't know if I really want Ben Simmons on the team, or at the time I wasn't even really sure if I wanted Ben Simmons on the team. I know I said that he was a perfect fit at some point, but I just knew that Jaden was not going to be this player that everybody thought he was. And we should have traded him while he had the value. So we'll get to Jaden in a second, though. Taurean Prince, he's a B. Malik Beasley, the birthday boy, had a great night, honestly. 18 points, 6 of 14 shooting, but 5 of 11 from 3. Only 2 personal fouls, only 1 turnover. I'd say this is probably a B night for him, too. This is pretty good. I'm starting to have confidence in his shot. So when I see Beasley shoot, I'm excited. To be honest, though, I've been kind of on that. I've been on Beasley's side this whole season and believing that he's going to show up. It's just going to take time. I'm not thinking that he's even all here right now. It looks like he's pretty close, but I think this was a good game for Malik. So, and really the only... it's weird because you look at the stats and you see Cat has like 25.7 rebounds and 6 assists, and it's like, but is that really how good of a game he had? I don't know. So, but anyways, that's the bench players. I agree with B+. We're on to the starters. And I know I keep doing these ad breaks. I got to get like the Nightbot to come into the chat. But if you're new here, like the stream, subscribe to the YouTube channel, because we do this after every game, win or loss. So, and tonight is unfortunately one of those gross losses. So I appreciate everybody that comes and hangs out tonight, because I know this wasn't fun to watch as a game. So I'm sure it's not fun to come and stew in the loss after the game. But anyways, we're on to the starters, and we're going to kind of continue our conversations about Jaden. So Jaden, least amount of minutes of the starters tonight. I didn't actually realize he started. I didn't see him in the game until 10 minutes, until we were 2 minutes into the first quarter. But he had 4.6 rebounds, 2 of 7 shooting. I don't know what he's doing. He's taking so many shots. He took 4 threes tonight, which I hated every single one of them, because each one of them looked different. He had 3 personal fouls, which is, I guess, a good thing for him. He had 2 turnovers. Just not a great game from him. Honestly, we're running out of room on the D tier right now. I'm gonna actually have to scooch this over and make some room for him because I think that's pretty much where he was tonight. Right when I saw the losing streak starting lineup, I knew we were in trouble. Yeah, he steps out of bounds. And here's the thing about that time that he stepped out of bounds, he travels too because he kind of jumps with both feet. And it's very similar to the Gorgie travel situation that we'd have all the time, where Gorgie would travel all the time from the corner threes. Except now it's Jaden. So I guess consistency in the Timberwolves, but still annoying. I'm gonna give him a D. I just really hated this. I hated this game from him. I did not like it. Oops. Sorry. Highlights. Come back. Thank you. But to continue the conversation we were talking about, Jaden, man. Should have traded him when he had value. I'm not saying he won't have value for us as like a deeper role player, but he just doesn't look good right now. He still looks kind of like a deer, like a baby deer out there at times. Yes, it's still like clockwork. Yeah, it's just it's one of these things that we harp on these players for, like Towns, Edwards to some extent, McDaniels, Noel. There's these things that happen all the time that just don't get corrected, and him standing out, or stepping out of bounds every game is like clockwork. It's the worst. But what starting lineup should Finch have put out there? Yeah, I'm not sure. I kind of like Beasley still coming off the bench for now. Obviously Beasley's probably the most popular answer just because of how well he's been shooting. But then you have your bench lineup that's really weird, and you're really going to have to stagger your starters to kind of come in there. I'd probably, honestly, I don't love this, but you could have done Taurean Prince or even a Josh Okogie. But I just don't like, I don't know. Jaden, to me, I'm just really low on Jaden right now. I don't even really like him coming off of the bench because he just can't shoot. It's the same issues as Josh Okogie was a couple years ago. It's just that he's taller. So, and we had Jaden on LaMelo for a bit of the night, so he did hold LaMelo to some lower scoring. But LaMelo is somebody that I think if you leave him open, he can get hot. But I think if he's got defenders on him, and I haven't watched him every game, so I can't really speak to that. But yeah, as a Hornets fan, GG. Hope Edwards continues to go crazy. Sixth Sense. All right, thanks for stopping by. Just as I was kind of downplaying LaMelo, but we here are LaMelo fans. We are also Ant fans. I think that those two are the future of the NBA. I think those two are going to be names that people hear for a very long time. So GG's. Do appreciate you stopping by the stream. But yeah, LaMelo, he's somebody that's just like his shot making. I'm not necessarily so worried about if we have a defender on him, especially like Jaden, who's so long. But his playmaking is just unbelievable, obviously. So he'll have these plays where, like I was saying, it's like Rubio-esque, but he's obviously like 5 inches taller, and he's so much faster. He just has the ability to find them so much quicker. And I think that's from his time playing in, what was it, Lithuania? Is that where he played? I don't even remember. But he was playing against real NBA or like adults, that gets him that experience. So just kind of crazy. But Jaden didn't have a good night. He's a D. Anyways, Vanderbilt, kind of less of a good night for Vanderbilt. He had 5 points, 8 rebounds, 2 steals, and a block. He was okay. He missed that layup at a point that was kind of a turning point where we could have brought it down to a 1-possession game. Got blocked. Might have been goaltending. I didn't see any replays on it, but still, it's just frustrating. Not to say that he's the reason for any of this game, but because Vando still had his hustle out there. He was getting tons of rebounds in the first. Only had 2 personal fouls. Good defense tonight, too, from him. Yeah, he was our only plus-minus. You're right. Yeah, it felt like it, too, in the starters, yeah. Because obviously, the guys that came in at the end of the game had a little bit of a plus. But yeah, Vanderbilt, I think, had a decent game. I probably put him in the B tier. Not high B tier. Probably, like, low B tier, though. Not goaltending. Okay, I didn't see. It looked like it was close, but, usually it's 50-50. It usually just goes to the blocker. So, yeah, I'm going to give Vanderbilt a B. just because of the effort that he brought. He kind of brought his same Vando effort. I wish we would have seen maybe a little bit more Vanderbilt in certain moments. But overall, just a fine game. Maybe closer to a C. C might be a little bit better, but we'll see if I change my mind. I guess I should. I'm kind of on the fence, but But looked real time like a goaltend. Yeah, I mean, it's so tricky on a lot of those plays. It's just hard to tell. But anyways, on to the top 3 players of the night, maybe. I mean, top 3 starters of the night. We'll go with Edwards first. So Edwards did not have a great game, but he also didn't get much of a chance to have a great game. He had 11 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, a steal. He shot 4 of 9, like we were talking about earlier. Only had 9 shots. He did get to the line 4 times, or I guess I should say he shot 4 free throws. Hey, 6 cents. Thanks for the sub. I appreciate it. But yeah, he got to the line for 4 shots. Only made 1 of them. He was 1 of 4 from the line, so that's not good. He was a team low, -50, or no, second team low to Jaden, team -15. But this is a weird game because I almost don't blame this on Ant specifically. It was just more of like D'Lo was hot in the beginning of the game, so D'Lo was kind of taking over. Towns had moments tonight where he was taking over, but it wasn't fully. He just still, like, he's struggling to go up against these smaller defenders and take over the game. I'm just having a hard time believing that he got 25 points. That seems unreal to me. But I guess he had 7 free throws, but crazy. So from Ant tonight, unfortunately, I mean, defensively, I didn't really notice him that much either. I think this just, I don't know if it's just like the day after Thanksgiving or what is the deal, but just not looking good. And I mean, if we're going off of the rules that we normally do for this, yeah, Godfrey, we did play good defense against the Heat. Tonight was definitely not the case, and I really do think that that's us playing down to our imaginary level of what we think the Hornets are. Because the Hornets are a team that you have to play good defense on, and we really only played good defense on LaMelo for the most part. But yeah, first time I didn't see him smiling in a warm-up, if that means anything. Hornets just moved too fast for us tonight. Yeah, 100%. Just totally, kind of crazy. Sorry, I'm watching the highlights now. Anyways, I think Ant is probably a D tonight. Maybe top of the D tier. Not anything to his fault, because like he didn't play bad necessarily, but you're hoping for more, and like he is, even though he's only 20, he clearly can take over the game, like he did against the Heat, a legitimate playoff contender, and it's something you want to see. Given you'd hope that the other stars would kind of step up, which I guess they did in some parts tonight, but. Yeah, we have some bad defensive players: D'Lo, Cat, Ant, Beasley, Jordan. Yeah, I mean, Ant's not a bad defensive player, though. He's a pretty good defensive player. Cat, I would agree with you, is not a good defensive player. D'Lo, he's been getting a lot of praise for getting his defense up lately. Apparently, he's in like some weird top stat for defense this year. I don't necessarily believe that as like a new thing for D'Lo. I think his defense is still going to be not good, but Beasley's defense is definitely suspect. Jordan, if you're talking about Jordan McLaughlin, yeah, I don't really believe in him for defense or offense. But yeah, D'Lo's been playing good D this year. I just don't know if that's a trend, like a decent, just he's having that happen right now, and it's just kind of like a phase, or if it's like forever. Because this is not the D'Lo defense that I'm accustomed to seeing when he was on Golden State or when he was on the Nets. These are just not the Lakers, it's not really what you expect. So I don't know. We're going to give Ant a D tonight, but that's, I've got the D's. The D column is off the chart right now. But yeah, not good. And that's fair. I mean, this is how the game went. It was just not a good game. But next up, we'll talk about Russell. We'll go into Russell. So Russell had 18 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists. He was 8 of 15. Only 1 of 4 on 3, but he was scorching hot in the first quarter. It was kind of crazy. Yes, Gerald. What? Yeah, so the injury to Morant, I didn't see the play. I heard that he couldn't put any weight on his leg. Yeah, no contact. So are we thinking it's bad, or was it just like a broken play, bad game, and he's just not playing because it's like, why not? It looks bad? That's bad. Okay. Well, I hope not. But this is the thing. It's similar to what we say about Cat. Because like Morant, he's landing awkwardly a lot after dunk attempts. I don't know if it was after a dunk attempt, but um, you hate to see that kind of stuff, especially from a player like Morant. And that team needs him. Not to say they don't have talent, but like they need Ja Morant to be anything. So that's sad. And but to compare that to Cat, Cat's doing all these crazy things where he's falling on the floor tonight. It's just insane. So he was just dribbling and just couldn't walk anymore. That's weird. But it's a knee injury, so it's not an Achilles. Well, I'll have to take a look on that later. But anyways, back to Russell. Russell had a great start to the game, and then he just didn't really take any more shots. I think he was trying to get other people involved. Maybe should have done that. Maybe shouldn't have done that. Obviously, Oubre just went off tonight. So, and here's the thing. We just had nobody on Oubre tonight. And I'm going to have to look back at the footage to see who was supposed to be on him. It might have been Ant that was supposed to be on him. He was just open every time. I honestly don't know if we had a contested 3 on him. But Hawks are beating him by 50 without shot. That makes sense. But yeah, D'Lo started great. I thought it was going to be a great D'Lo game. And I thought that we were going to have a good run of D'Lo games without Patrick Beverley, relying on him a lot. But no. The good news about tonight is that nobody played more than 31 minutes. So that'll be good going into tomorrow. But we're playing an even better team tomorrow. So it was classic Wolves, never guide the guy who's hot. Yeah, it's like we just never. And this is the thing that I don't understand. Is this a coaching thing or is this just an effort thing? Because like this is every Wolves team that we know of has done this. Every Wolves team. It's usually to some random white guy that we have no idea we've never heard their name before the night, and then suddenly it's their career high, and then they get to remember the night that they dominated the Wolves. Tonight it was Kellu Oubre, who is a legit player, and we just weren't putting anybody on him. It was just frustrating. Part of that was LaMelo finding him, and we were trying to play really good defense on LaMelo, so we had to be off of one person. But yeah, frustrating. Anyways, D'Lo had a decent night. I feel like we can't give him any higher than a C, but we can't give him lower than a D, so I'm going to give him a C. I think we're going to give him a C. Because he started hot, ended not. That's what it is. That rhymed. Anyways, we're going to get on to Towns now. So Towns, this is weird to me. He had apparently a great game stat-wise, but this is just kind of how Towns does it. So he had 25 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists, 1 steal. He was 9 of 18 shooting, another great efficiency night. But there were a lot of times where he's trying to post up people, and he's just doing it unsuccessfully. He had a couple plays tonight where he was able to, but a couple of those were later in the game, down by a lot. And the Charlotte defense is about to just like give it up because they're like, yeah, well, I just don't want threes. So kind of let it happen. Did get to the line a little bit tonight, but also was on the floor way too much. Just way too much. And if you see Cat out there, I don't know. I just have a hard time believing in him, man. It's a struggle lately for Towns. What's the Glenn Taylor grade? Oh, 6 cents, you're still here. So Glenn Taylor is like the bottom of the bottom. He's our owner. So it's the lowest rating you can get. We have Wancho, who is the tier above Glenn Taylor, in the Glenn Taylor seed right now, just because he was so bad for us last year. He's not even on the team anymore, but we just put him there every night because. And then Wancho's bad. Wancho's like F tier, and Glenn Taylor tier is like astronomically terrible. Like this play that we're watching right here, where we missed the 4-on-1, 5-on-1 break. And then not only that, they throw it down for a full court pass and get a lay-in. That is a Glenn Taylor tier play. That is a very typical Wolves play. So Glenn Taylor, ruin your franchise for us almost 2 decades. Yeah, we need, as much as a goofball as Mark Laurier and Alex Rodriguez are, can they take over fully quickly? Oh my gosh. Anyways, I don't really know what to say about Towns. He had good moves tonight. He had bad plays tonight. He actually did have a couple good plays that I do want to talk about. He had one no-look pass that I actually appreciated because it actually served a purpose. He was going to throw to somebody, I think, in the corner, and then threw to Vanderbilt right under the basket for a wide open dunk. That play was amazing. Love that play. That's the kind of no-look passes that we should get. Something that's actually effective and useful. But that was I guess he had 25 points. He only's 1 of 3 from 3. Yeah. I don't know. It was okay night for Towns. This was more of like a regular night for Towns, I'll say. Like, it wasn't like a bad night for him. But just need him to take over more. And he's just not. Towns was exactly what we expect, but that's the problem. That's a good way of putting it. Because like obviously everybody's gonna look at the stat line and be like, "Oh, what a great game from Towns," but the Timberwolves just sucked around him again. That's not really the case. The whole team was pretty bad tonight. Towns just ended up getting some of those stats. I like Towns in the low post, not flailing, and top of the key, but I hate his mid post. Yeah, mid post because he has to back the defender down so much, and he just can't because he's not strong enough against bigs or smalls. He's not strong enough to move somebody even like Terry Rozier. And even if he is strong enough, then he's not proving it with his technique, which is about what I was about to say, is that Towns refuses to understand that his elbows are going to go into people's faces when he's doing post-move spins every game. I mean, I wish I could bet on it, because I wish I could bet and say, hey, how many times is Towns' elbow going to clock somebody in the face as he's doing a post-move spin? It's every game, He just never learns. And I wish he would figure it out because, sure, we're super harsh on Towns. We're way harsher on him than any other player. But that's because he is better than this. He is better than the plays that he's doing. He just has to realize that. And I believe he has good intentions. I'm not saying he has bad intentions, but just bad. So I think tonight Towns was okay. What do we think? Do we think he should be a C or a B tonight? Let's see. Who would love to partner Towns with to cover him defensively? Well, the thing is, Sixth Sense, is that what happens is that they can put a play like this. Well, actually, who is this? PJ Washington? I can't tell. It's too small on my screen. But they put any size on him. The only size that he really is beating is like those, like Steven Adams types. Because if we have Steven Adams on him, Steven Adams can't keep up to his playmaking ability. Like there was a play tonight where he was doing the stupid between the legs things, but then he actually beat his defender to the left. He drove left and was able to get to the basket for a layup. That's a great play. Yeah, and Godfrey, exactly. Towns makes max money. We should expect a lot out of him, and we're just not getting that level of like leadership. We're getting the stats out of him, which is great, I guess. And I know this is gonna trigger some people, but like great for trade value someday. But like Kevin Love is a prime example of that. But it's just this is just a bad game for him. I can't emphasize how painful watching this game was. It was really bad. But I think I'm gonna give Towns a C tonight. We expect more, but at the same time, it wasn't like that bad of a game, so we'll put him in C tonight. Just because I don't know what else to do, and I don't really feel like doing anything else for him. So that was the game, though. Not good. We play tomorrow at 5 against the 76ers. The 76ers are 10-9, and we are 9-10. So if we win, both teams are 500. Not that it really matters, but be a big game. So losing, it's one thing. So we've now won 5 in a row, which I think, not that it's ever okay to lose, but Ant kind of said this in a presser the other day. He said, you never want to lose, but like if you can win a bunch of games, and then you can kind of sprinkle in losses, that's one thing. And if this is just a sprinkled in loss, that's fine. This is a game where we didn't really show up to play. If we come tomorrow against the 76ers and win, this is an acceptable loss. Not that it was good because we had so many bad plays and just players not engaged tonight. But exactly like Godfrey's saying, it would be a bummer to win 5 in a row and then lose the next 7, which is possible, And I said after the last game, I'm going to be really bummed if we lose this game today. And that's true, I am bummed. But tomorrow is a redemption day. And if we can redeem ourselves tomorrow, that'd be good. Even if Embiid doesn't play, even if Harris doesn't play, 76ers are still legit enough to beat us. Yeah. Okay, Jake. You're true. Like that, I forgot. Also, Jim Peterson deserves an A for holding the mic all night, Ralph Lawler style. But yeah, no, it was bad night for Bally Sports. Bad night. Also, apparently, I think is it true that the Hornets broadcast was having issues too? I heard that they were having some issues as well. But um, either way, Dave Ben said at the end of the game they didn't even have Wi-Fi or something like that. I don't know. Crazy. Um, oh, Gerald. Okay, Gerald. The Jim's mic. I wasn't actually as bad as I thought. People were making a huge deal about it on Twitter. Apparently, well, not apparently. Jim's mic was really bad in the beginning. It sounded like he was in like a tin can, and it was really low volume. And then for a while, he was actually had his microphone off, and it was just Dave calling the game by himself, which was really awkward. But yeah, so that was happening, and then they finally gave him, I think, Katie Olsen, or what's her name? Katie Olsen? Am I forgetting something? I don't know. The new sideline reporter, Katie. They gave her handheld mic to Jim to use during the game. So Katie Storm. What am I saying? Katie Storm. But yeah, so they gave Katie's mic to Jim for the rest of the game. But yeah, it was just a weird start, and it lasted like the entire first quarter. It was weird. But Embiid questionable for tomorrow. COVID. He's been out with COVID for like 3.5 weeks, I think. That's crazy. That is crazy. But yeah, well, that's kind of all I have. I think I'm going to go back to some Black Friday shopping. Timberwolves gave away free tickets this morning, and they were all upper deck tickets to the games that they gave to me originally during the lifetime deal, but took away from me. So I angrily declined. You're just going to go cry? Yeah, that's probably also what I'll do. 52 wins, still possible. We're only 9-10. It's not that bad, you know. It's okay. We're all gonna be okay. But anyways, I appreciate everyone as always for sticking out, hanging out. Hopefully tomorrow night we have a better show, or not a better show, excuse me. Well, maybe a better show too, but have some better things to talk about on the show more so. Yeah, I hope we win. I appreciate it. 6. Maybe, I don't know if we play the Hornets again, but if we see the Hornets again, stop on by. I mean, you can stop by any night, but I assume the Hornets probably a little bit more interesting than the Wolves to you. But yeah, story of the night: Kelly Oubre dominates Timberwolves. For some reason, YouTube wouldn't allow me to put Cutie Pie. Kelly Oubre destroys the Wolves. It said that it was an invalid title. Apparently, destroys is too crazy, but. But yeah, I appreciate you for stopping by, 6, and subbing. Seriously, I appreciate that. And anybody that's new here that hasn't subbed already, go ahead and sub. Press the like button. I will be back tomorrow. I'm going to be watching the game right after I'm done with work because I work 8:30 to 5 tomorrow. So right as the game starts, I'm getting off of work. And then pretty much be live right after the game tomorrow. So anyways, thanks for stopping by, everybody. As tradition is, we're going to play the intro as the outro. We'll see you tomorrow night. Thanks for stopping by.